Hey everyone, welcome to today's version of my Facebook Live. My name's Jen Polson, and if you are watching me for the first time, maybe on my YouTube channel, I just want to say welcome. I'll introduce myself really quick. I'm an energy coach, and I've been trained in what's called Simply Healed, really powerful energy healing technique that is exactly what it says it is. It's simple and it's powerful, and it has changed my life. And so when I decided to go get trained a few years ago, I wanted to have an impact like it on other people, to help them find happiness and get over their blocks and really step up and live the life that they were supposed to live. So that's a little bit about me. Hey everybody, thanks for coming on. So I was really excited. I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about today, and I just had the impression to just put it out there on Facebook and ask, what do you guys want to talk about? And I was really super pleased that I had some really amazing responses. And so I want to invite those of you who didn't have a chance to respond to that. If you want to put down something today, as we're here live, then I will be watching and I will address what you want to talk about. So I'm going to give a quick summary, and what I think is really cool is that a lot of what was on my heart and mind to talk about was actually mentioned in the comments. So a lot was just already percolating in my mind. So, okay, I'm going to just give a quick little recap of what some of the things, the comments that were made. So, how to handle like waiting without giving up, like having that expectation and waiting for things to happen, and not like, how do you keep going? How do you not give up on that? That's a really powerful experience that we all have at one point or another. Up leveling, and then also upper limit energy, and those two go so hand in hand together. I mean, when you want to do something new, you want to up level your business, or have deeper meaning in your relationships, just be on this journey of personal progression, personal growth. I mean, you're going to hit some ceilings on that. You're going to hit some walls, and that's called upper limit energy, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. Feeling paralyzed, a lot of times that is exactly what happens when we hit those belief walls, that upper limit energy. We just feel paralyzed. We can't make a choice. We're afraid to make the wrong choice. We're going to talk about that in a minute as well. And then one that I thought was so interesting was that, well, one of my followers has recently lost her mom, and today I happened to put my necklace on from my sister Georgia, and I was thinking a lot about her the last couple days, and whenever I wear this necklace, she gave it to me for my birthday a few years ago, and now it's like so treasured, right? Because it's a little part of her that she left behind with me. And so I just thought, wow, how synchronistic is that grief is coming up for somebody. And that fear and worry we have when our loved ones are going through difficult times, or are ill, whatever the circumstances, whether it's physical difficulty, emotional, all the things going on in the world right now with all the storms and everything. I know that is a big cause of some serious fear and worry. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to just look through the comments really quick. Oh yes, my dog in the background. Thank you, Don. I got this new carpet, this new rug. I'm going to show you guys. And it just like matches him perfectly, and he just loves sitting on that rug. So you may see him walking around, and he does bring good energy into any room. So I'm happy to have him as my special guest today. Okay, just wanted to look through the comments really quick. Okay, so if you're just hopping on and you want me to address something in particular, go ahead and just put it in the comments. I'm going to try and keep track of that. Okay, so let's start off by talking about that whole idea of waiting, what we're waiting for, or waiting for what we're working towards. Okay, waiting for things to happen, things to shift, things to come into our lives, those successes that we want, or those experiences, those life experiences that we want. One of the things that I have noticed most, and this is something that I've put into practice into my own life, is that when we're able to let go of the outcome of the things that we're waiting for, and it almost feels a little counterintuitive, like letting go of being attached to when things are going to happen, how it's going to happen, what it's going to look like. I remember when I first heard about that concept, it seemed so foreign to me, and it felt really difficult to me at first as well, to just want something so much, but yet at the same time let go. And there's something that's kind of magical that happens, though, when we do that, when we're able to let go of how it looks, let go of the time frame. It's almost like you can free yourself up to receive things better, the less you're struggling to hang on to it, especially if you're wanting it in a certain way. And this happens a lot in our relationship. So for those of you who have kids, if you think about your child throwing a temper tantrum, they want something, and the more that they want it, how do you feel inside? For me, like the more a kid throws a temper tantrum, the less I want to give it to them. And energetically, that is kind of what's going on. Like the more we want stuff, and are obsessed about it and kind of throwing temper tantrums about it and frustrated that it's not coming, and you're obsessing about looking for it and watching for it, it's really hard for it to come to you, because there's this energetic dance that happens. And so you'll notice, maybe you noticed back in in middle school, the girls that chased the boys, a lot of times the boys just were like, no, I can't do that. So that even happens in our marriages. It happens with our kids. It can happen if you're in sales. It's a real energetic thing that happens. If you want the sale too much, if you're attached to it in kind of like a needy way, then the person that you're selling to or sharing with, they pick up on that vibe, and they're like, I don't know why I can't do that, but I just can't do that. So think about letting go. Think about just allowing yourself to put out there what you want, work for what you want, and then let go of the outcome of what it looks like. Okay, so that's tip number one. Let's go ahead and just take a breath. So anybody that's feeling like some anxiety about the idea of detaching, let's just see if we can clear some of that energy. So take a nice big breath. And then let's talk really quick about up-leveling and upper limit energy. And this actually goes really well with what we just talked about. So I work with a lot of people that are building businesses, and when people are making plans, setting goals, getting their schedules all organized and really committing themselves to, being consistent, things can go along pretty well for a little while, and then a lot of times it comes to this screeching halt. So just yesterday, I was having one of my clients in one of our group calls was telling us about how, oh my gosh, she had this amazing day. She was coaching, she was working on her business, her schedule, just everything fell into place. And she had the most joyful day that she's had in a really long time, as far as like everything falling into place, right time, right place. And then the next morning, that morning when we were having our call, she was saying how everything was falling apart. It was like a disaster. Everything was going wrong. And I was so glad that she shared that with us, because that is classic upper limit energy. So if you guys have ever heard of the book, The Big Leap, it talks about this a lot. And it really is powerful in helping you recognize when you hit that upper limit energy in your relationships, in your business, in your health. And so, I actually hit some upper limit energy this morning. So yesterday, the last couple days, I've been getting like all organized in my business and scheduling out my day. And I had a couple good days of where I stuck to my calendar. I did my personal time. And then I was all set for it this morning. And then I'm in the kitchen about getting ready to go do my study time, and I hear this huge crash from my dining room, and the new mirror that I bought fell off the wall. It was shattered everywhere, and I just sat there going, oh my gosh, this is going to cut into my time. I'm going to have to clean this up. I'd have to, and I kind of felt myself starting to spiral, right? But I do what I do, so I was able to stop myself and be like, okay, let's just look at this a little different. Let's take a step back. So what I did was I figured that a lot of my study, like some of the things that I was going to study, were on video anyway. So I just put those on my phone while I was cleaning up the mess. So I didn't miss out on my study time. I was able to do that while I was cleaning up the mess. And so what may have happened, a couple years ago, or maybe a few weeks ago, I don't know, is that I would have just spent all the time picking up all the mess from the mirror, and then not doing my study time, because that was my allotted time. That was my scheduled time. And so it was like that mirror was the excuse. And when you allow the things that go wrong to be an excuse not to move forward, that's when you've hit an upper limit block. And all that means is that your brain is accustomed to a certain comfort level of success. When you have reached your comfort level and of your belief system, of what your subconscious belief feels is the right amount of success and happiness for you, once you hit that, then things start to fall apart. And then a lot of times that's where at the point where people give up. Okay, so when you hit that point, I just want you to recognize, start paying attention to when you're feeling really good, and then boom, something happens out of the blue, unexpected, messes your schedule up, is really disappointing, breaks. Maybe it's a fight with one of your kids or your spouse. It can come in so many different ways. So when you recognize that, if you can take a minute and just step back, okay, and choose a different way of reacting. Start seeing what else is possible. So just I could have not done my personal study this morning, and could have just spent the time cleaning up the mirror. I just did it at the same time. But what if you're having that in your business? What if, let's say you're inviting clients to hear, what you have to share, and you're getting all, you've had several yeses, but then all of a sudden everybody's saying no. Like, what then? What do you do? What your brain is doing is it's telling you that, well, it's going to start saying things to you like, who do you think you are? You can't have that much success. You can't be that happy. Things don't always work out for you. That's not how life is. You want to immediately like turn off those thoughts and the voices that you hear telling you that. Okay? That's the first step, is being aware of it and then just immediately stop. And start asking some other questions. Okay, well, what's another possibility? What can I do as I'm fixing this situation? What can I do to feel more connected to people so they want to hear my message? What can I do to reach those who are ready to hear my message? And that's the point where you can take a little personal inventory. Now, sometimes you have some really deep hidden beliefs that happen like when you're 2 or 3 or 5, that is kind of like the root cause of that upper limit energy. And in the work that I do, that's what we work on. We work on getting rid of those really deep subconscious belief systems that keep you hitting that ceiling. Okay, so that's what we do in individual coaching and group coaching. And so any of my clients that are on here, if you guys want to share just like a little experience in the comments about how just an experience of how you've overcome some upper limit energy through working together, that would be amazing. Okay, so a couple oil suggestions that I have for upper limit energy is cypress oil. So I love to put cypress down my spine. I do that just about every morning. That's the oil of motion and flow. It keeps you moving forward. It supports you in that energy of moving forward. Okay, so you can diffuse that. You can wear that. You can also put some eucalyptus right here, and I think I've shared this with you guys before, but for those of you who are new, so eucalyptus just right here, and then lemon on your temples, and that is a really good combination for just allowing the energy of those blocks to release. Okay, take a few deep breaths and just tell yourself you're going to choose to see this differently. You're going to choose a different reaction. Usually what I tell my clients is if you can't do it on your own, that just means there's something deeper that you just need some help with. And so that's what I'm here for, to help with that. Okay, so I want to address, let's see, Dawn, maybe talking about trusting yourself. Yeah, that trusting yourself is so important, and that's one way that upper limit energy can show up as a symptom when you start second guessing yourself right away. Our brains want to keep us safe. Okay, so if you have had some experiences in the past, and they could be, just like when you were little, teeny tiny, of things not working out, or being told, no, you can't have that, or maybe your parents said to you often, or you heard them talking like that, we don't have money for that, we don't have enough money, you shouldn't want to spend money on things like that. I mean, all of those little experiences, even though the adults in our lives had no intention of causing us any kind of distress about things, those little perceptions we pick up on, and then they play out as adults. And that's one way we can tell when we have those deep-rooted blocks, is recognizing that, like, when we hit the upper limit energy, or when we quit trusting ourselves. And then the other part of that is like being paralyzed with fear. That's one thing a couple people brought up, is like not trusting yourself enough to make a decision. And that, a lot of times that just comes from a belief that, well, or maybe an experience. I mean, when you were little and you made a decision and you got in trouble for it, or somebody made fun of you because of the decision you made. And so your brain, it remembers that little experience, even if it was at 5 years old or 3 years old. Your brain remembers that experience, and your brain, your subconscious is like, okay, it's not safe to make decisions because you might get in trouble. If you make the wrong decision, then, that could be bad. Someone could get in trouble, or you could get in trouble. Someone could be hurt by that. What are people going to think? So it's just better for you not to make the decision at all. This is what's going on in the subconscious brain. Okay, I want you to understand that, so that when you get in that situation, you can have power over that situation. You can recognize, we don't know what we don't know, and I love being able to share stuff like this so that you can have a better understanding that there's not something wrong with you just because you're fearful and you feel paralyzed. It just means your body and your mind is really trying to help you to wake up to being able to heal all that old stuff that's keeping you from really stepping into your full purpose and power. Okay, so one of the things that I really talk to my clients about lately is we're not looking really at, is this decision right or is it wrong? And when I say that, I'm not talking about moral things, okay? I'm talking about, if you're making business decisions, you're trying to buy a house, you're trying to decide what eating plan or what exercise plan, or you're trying to decide what, vacation to take. I mean, on those things, there's not really right or wrong. It's the way I look at it is does this work for me or doesn't it work? Is this an experience I want to have again, or next time do I want to choose something different? Okay, so if we can take those labels off of our decisions, am I going to do the right thing or the wrong thing? And instead, I'm going to find out if this works, and I'm going to decide if this works or doesn't work. Okay, it takes a lot of pressure off of you. So, okay, so I'm feeling a lot of like tension in my throat and my heart area, so I can feel like that's kind of a uncharted territory there that we're going into, which is good. But let's go ahead and take a breath so that you can release any of that fear, and let's actually think about like what age. You don't have to think about a certain experience necessarily, but just like tune into yourself and just say, what age did I feel afraid of making my own choice? What age did I learn that was a scary thing? But take a breath and just kind of whatever you feel, whatever age kind of pops into your head, like just trust that. We're going to take another breath and just clear that experience, that experience of getting in trouble, or that experience of being shamed, or that experience of being embarrassed, or that experience of being laughed at. Okay, we're going to release the energy of that experience so that when you're making decisions, you don't have to go back to those old stuck emotions anymore. Those are lies now, because, wow, my words just left me. I think that's all I need to say about that. It's that old stuff becomes the lies in our head. Okay, so take a breath. Let's just release any additional lies that we've been believing about ourselves and our abilities and what we're capable of. Okay, So when we have fear and worry for other people, my best tip for you on that is to pray. Just pray for the people that you're worried about and you're afraid about. I often teach my clients a visualization where what I do every morning is I think about all the things, all the people, all the parts of my life that I have a little worry and fear about, and I just put them in a basket and I just hand that over to God or hand it over to your angels. And at first when I heard that little visualization, I'm not a real big visualization person usually, but that one really has stuck with me. And the more that I do that, it frees up space for me to trust that God has it covered. God's watching over the people in my life. God is working on the things that aren't working. And when I can let go of the worry about it, it feels like I'm more open to just receiving love and comfort. And then also it allows it allows this opening for the energy of things to be resolved. Okay, so you can put your kids in that basket. You can put your marriage in that basket. You can put your finances in that basket, and you can put your any health concerns. You can put let's see. You can put anything about your business or your work or your coworkers or whatever, anything that's weighing you down, put it in that basket and just hand it over. And that way you can focus and have the energy, the mental and emotional energy to focus on the things that are really important. You can focus on your, reaching out and connecting, and you can focus on healing even when you're not, when your heart and mind are not so focused on the worry. Okay, so the next thing is I want to cover really quick is grief. So everyone take a breath, and I want you to think about, something or someone that you're grieving, because we all have things that we grieve, and some things are bigger than others, and everyone's affected differently by grief. I think that allowing ourselves the gift of time to grieve, because there's no timeline on grief. Absolutely no timeline. There's no moment where you should be over, the loss of someone close. And allowing yourself permission to grieve. That's probably the biggest part, when we don't think we should be feeling a certain way and we're judging ourselves and critical of that. Just the freedom that you'll find in allowing yourself permission to take as much time grieving as you need. Again, I'm a big, believer in prayer, and I believe that really the only one who knows how to comfort us in any situation is God. And always turning to God for those things that are really that pain that's so deep that nobody can really say anything to make it better. But when you connect to allowing his, those arms of love to wrap around you and comfort you, and hear that voice and that love whisper to you that everything's going to be okay. One oil that I've used a lot over the last, I think, 18 months since my sister has passed is cardamom, and I use that over my liver, so it's right below the right rib cage, right under the right rib cage. And it doesn't stop the grief, but what that does, at least my experience, is that it helps me move through it instead of getting stuck and instead of feeling like a victim of it. We want to just allow ourselves to feel everything. All right. Does anyone have any other questions? Thanks, you guys, for those who have commented. I appreciate that. So I hope you guys read the comments of some of my clients. Anybody else have anything they want me to cover really quick? I've spent 30 minutes here. So I appreciate you guys coming on. It just makes my heart so happy. I hope that you were able to just feel something shift. I hope you feel lighter after we've taken those breaths and released some of that heaviness. Like, this is a little taste of what happens in like a group session or an individual session. I mean, I want to help people feel lighter and happier and be free of all the stuff that's holding them back. And so I would love to talk to you for 15 minutes and just see what, where you want to be in the next 3 months. How do you want to feel? What do you want to create in your life? Let's just talk about you for a few minutes and just see if there's, see what's possible for you. So I would love that. Just message me. You can go to my website at jenpolson.com and contact me through there. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to send me a message on Facebook. I'm here for you. I appreciate you being here for me, and I will look forward to next week. Have a great week, you guys. Bye.